In this demonstration, I will show you how to secure network traffic in Azure. So there are 4 tasks that I will need to perform. First, I will create a virtual machine. After that, I will create a network security group, and I will now use the network security group to create an inbound security port that will allow an RDP into the virtual machine. In task 4, I will configure an outbound security rule that will deny internet access into the virtual machine. So what I will do now is that I will look for virtual machine so that I can create a virtual machine. Then I will select create Azure virtual machine. Then I will go ahead and supply necessary information like the resource group name. So I'll call it RG1. That's the name of the resource group. And the virtual machine name, I will call it simple win VM, simple win virtual machine. And for the region, it will be East US. Under the availability option, I will select the drop down, then I will select no infrastructure redundancy required. Then under the image, I just need to confirm if Windows Server 2019 data center is the one that is selected by default, because that is the operating system that I want to install on the virtual machine. For the architecture, make sure that it's 64. You can see it's 64 bits. For the size, I will leave it this way. Then for the username, I will use Azure user, and for the password, I will use this password PA$W0RD1234, and I will confirm the same password PA$W0RD1234. Then for the inbound port rule, I will say none. At this point, I don't want to create any inbound ports. It simply means that this virtual machine will not be able to accept any inbound connection like RDP or whichever other one. Then I will go to the networking tab to also confirm if the inbound port rule is properly selected, and you can see public inbound port is set to none. Another thing that I will select here is the network security group. I will turn it to none. Then I will go ahead and click review plus create. So it simply shows that the virtual machine will not create a network security group. So once the virtual machine is ready, we will now create a network security group. Then we'll now attach the virtual machine to that network security group. And that is normal standard approach, so that you can have opportunity to control the flow of that network security group. You can have opportunity to manage that network security group the best way you think you can manage it. So what I just did now is the standard practice. So I'm waiting for the necessary background checking to be completed. As you can see, that is running the final validation. So once it's done, then it will allow me to click the create button. So I will pause this video now, then I will come back once the virtual machine is ready. So the deployment is complete. So I will click go to resource. This will take me to the overview of the virtual machine. As you can see, It's showing that the virtual machine is deployed into the resource group 1. The status of the virtual machine is running. The location is East US. It has also assigned a public IP address to the virtual machine. It also assigned a virtual network to the virtual machine. And if I go down, I can see more information about the virtual machine, like the size, the CPU, the RAM, and so on. Now, if I click on this network settings of this virtual machine, so it's going to give me network configuration of this virtual machine. This virtual machine has a network interface, and the name of that network interface is Simple Win VM 564. Please take note of this network interface name. I'm going to use this network interface name later because that's what I will use to assign the virtual machine to the network security group. For the network security group, you can see it's empty because there is no network security group for this virtual machine. So what I will do now is that I need to go and create the network security group because that is the only way I will be able to implement inbound and outbound connection for this virtual machine. So I'll go back to this place and I'll look for network security group so that I can create the network security group. So I'll click on the network security group, then I will click the create so that I can create the network security group. For the subscription, I will leave it this way. The resource group name, I will select the RG1. For the name, I will use my NSG secure, and the region will be East US. Then I will click review plus create. After that, if the information is okay, then it will allow me to click the create button. Now, here's the create button. I will click on it. And this will now go ahead. As you can see, it's initializing the deployment. So once they finish initializing the deployment, now you can see it's submitting the deployment. And at the end of the day, it's going to create the network security group for me. So once again, I will pause this video and I'll be back once the network security group is ready. Wow, it's even ready. So I'll click go to resource for the network security group, and on the go to resource of the network security group, I need to now associate my virtual machine into the network security group. And I will do that under the settings. From the settings, I will go to network interface. And on the network interface now, I will click associate. So I will select from the drop down of the network interface association. Do you remember this name? This is the network interface name, or let me say the network interface card of that virtual machine. So I'll click on it and I'll click OK. So by doing this, it has attached. By doing this, it will attach that virtual machine now to this network security group. So the next thing that I will do now is that I will configure an inbound security port now, so that we can have access to the virtual machine remotely. So to do that, I will go back to the virtual machine, and that is the Simple Win VM. If I click on the virtual machine, before I configure the RDP, let me try and connect to the virtual machine. And let's see what will happen. So I'll click on the download RDP file, and I'll click the file. Then I will say connect. This is what's going on. What do you see? Remote desktop can't be found, or it is undefined. So what I will do is to go to the settings of that virtual machine. So I'll go back to the virtual machine, and from this side, I'll click on the network settings of the virtual machine. And on the network setting, if you scroll down, you realize now that we now have the network security group, because we've attached network security group to this virtual machine. So by default, you can see this is the inbound port rule, and we have outbound port rule. Then we have three default rules for both inbound port rules and outbound port rules. And the three of them, we do not have opportunity to change them. So the only thing we can do is to override. Now let's look at the inbound port rule. Look at the first one, allow VNet inbound. It allows it. If you look at the action, it's saying what? Allow. If you also check the other one, like the second one, it says allow Azure load balancer inbound. It also allows it. Then look at this one, deny all inbound. This is the reason why we cannot connect to that virtual machine remotely, because the rule here says deny all inbound. So this is what I want to correct, and I cannot delete this. So the only thing I can do is to override this. It simply means that I need to go and create a new inbound port rule. Then I will set the priority so that it can override the existing inbound port rule. We're also going to do the same thing for the outbound. If you look at the outbound, it says allow internet outbound. It simply means that the virtual machine will be able to have access to the internet, which simply means that people can browse on the virtual machine. In the normal settings, this is wrong. Your servers should not have access to internet for people to be able to browse. So again, we are going to configure an inbound port rule and outbound port rule. So I'll click on this, and I'll click inbound port rule. This will allow me to create an inbound port rule. So the source is any. The range of the ports also is wildcard. The destination is also any. Then I'll go to the service and I will select RDP. That's the service that I want to enable. And that RDP has a default port range of 3389. Then under the action, I will make sure that it's allowed. Then the priority now will be 300, for instance. If you look at the existing priority for the deny all inbound, it was 65,500. So by making it 300 now, it will take effect before the deny all inbound, which means that it will override the deny all inbound. So I will change the name of this rule, and I will call it allow RDP, and I'll click add. So it's creating the rule now. So the rule is ready. If I go back now, I should be able to see it. This is allow RDP. So at this point, if I go back to that virtual machine, so the existing file that I downloaded for the simple win VM, I'll click on it again and I'll click connect. This time it's supposed to allow me. What's it saying? It said remote desktop can't find computer identifier. This is wrong. Please let me go back and confirm what could be the problem. Let me refresh this. It is not supposed to allow that kind of a thing to actually happen. but at times it does happen. You might just need to refresh the page, then I will go back to the same place, then I'll click connect, and this time around I want to get a new file. um, so I will download the RDB file. Look at the public IP address of the virtual machine. So I'll keep it and I'll click open file. It should work now because the IP address is here. The other time I noticed that the IP address can't be found, so he was unable to pick the IP address. So this time around now, yeah, it's ready. So I will use PA$W0RD. That's the password. And confirm. Yeah, then 1234. So I'll click OK. And you can see I now have access to the virtual machine remotely. I can connect to the virtual machine now remotely. So this is the virtual machine. So on this virtual machine now, you can now perform any tasks that you want to perform on the virtual machine. So once the virtual machine is ready, as you can see that it's still loading. What I will confirm is that can I browse on this virtual machine, and I will check a particular site. Like I said earlier, I'm going to check a site called bing.com. That's Bing. And I want to see if I can browse that site on this virtual machine. Then I will deny access to that site through this virtual machine. That is by configuring the outbound port through. And let's see what will happen. So I'm going to launch Microsoft Edge on this virtual machine, and I will type bing.com. So I will select start without data. Don't need to set any stuff here. Continue without data. So I'll type bing.com. So the site is working. So what I will do now is to go back to the configuration area of that virtual machine. So I will minimize this. I will go to this page now and click outbound port through. And on the outbound port through, what I want to configure is to deny access. So for the source, I will say any. For the source port range, it will be asterisk. Destination now is what? Service tag. And what service tag? Internet. And the service is that I want to customize that rule. The destination port range is going to be asterisk this time around. That's the destination port range. And for the protocol, I will leave it like this, any. For the action is to what? Allow. Sorry, the action will be to deny, is to deny. And the priority I can set it to a figure like 4,000, and the name I will call it deny internet. Then I will click add. So this will add a new rule, that is an outbound port rule, into this virtual machine. And the purpose is that we want to deny access to a particular site. But what I actually configure is that it's not going to have access to internet at all, and that's what I just configured now. So I will go back to the virtual machine and I will close the browser and I will launch the browser again. Then I will click here, then I will type bing.com. Let's see what will happen now. Is it going to respond? Based on what we just configured, it's not supposed to respond to anything. And if it fails to respond, it simply shows that the outbound security rule that we just configured is in effect. So you can see, as it's rolling, it simply shows that something is wrong. So what we configure is in effect. Right now, no site should be able to work. You can say bing.com failed to work. Let me search another site. Google.com should not work. No sites. And that's why, because I've denied internet access into the virtual machine. So remember the process we follow. The first thing we did was to create this virtual machine, and we make sure that the virtual machine doesn't have access to network security group or any networking stuff. The only networking configuration that is there was the network interface card. Then after I created the network security group, I associate the network interface card of the virtual machine to the network security group. That allows me now to be able to have access to the inbound and outbound security group of that virtual machine. And I configure two rules. The first rule is to allow an RDP, that is a remote desktop connection or a remote desktop protocol to the virtual machine. And the last one was the outbound rule that deny internet access to the virtual machine. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to this channel. Please, let me know what you think in the comment section. And do not forget to leave a like and share this video. See you in the next one.